All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today for the weekly InvArch community call. We're about to go ahead and get started here now. I'm sure we'll be having people join us throughout the call. So in the background, I'm just going to have, things going on. Not a big deal. So to get started, I like to usually ask the audience how their week's been going. How, if anybody wants to share their week, you'll have the opportunity to. Really quickly, just to share with you guys, my week has been a little crazy. Uh, Not to mention all the crazy InVarch stuff going on, but I had a garage door at my house just quit working. I had like my dog ripped my fence up. He ate my shoes. Um, yeah, it's just been a wild week to say the least. I found out, for example, that me and our social media manager, AJ, also share the same birthday. So this 2 days ago was our birthday, June 22nd. It turns out he's exactly a year older than me, so um, we found that out. That was pretty cool to share that together. Hopefully he's getting to feeling better. I don't know if everyone has been aware, but he currently is suffering from COVID. But hopefully he'll get back to feeling better soon. I don't know if anybody else has dealt with that stuff. It's not fun. I did, but I got over it fairly quickly. So, but that was my week in a nutshell. Also preparing for Polkadot Decoded. Ordering plane tickets and looking at bookings and looking at things that we got to do while we're in New York City and trying to snag tickets to side events while we're there and all the stuff for networking and building an account for code. It's been wild. It's been a wild week. Not to mention, we had like partnership announcements and stuff. Like it's been a very wild week, guys. But aside from myself, does anybody else that's here in the audience right now, if anybody else wants to share with the community how their week's gone, anything that they're looking forward to this coming week, please feel free to take the mic for a moment, introduce yourself, say hi, and let everyone know how you've been doing.
Hello.
Hey, Kovalev, how's your week going?
Please, Miko.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Ragnars, how are you doing?
Oh, good. And you?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Hey, we got our, community call started this morning. It's a good morning here. It's not too hot where I live at. It's been scorching weather lately, even from the moment we wake up. And right now it's clear, cloudy, and like 70 degrees. So it's actually a little cold in my house, for a change. But how's your week been, Ragnars? How you got anything you're looking forward to coming up this coming week or going into your weekend?
One second, 1 second. I need to recover my micro. And 1 second.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. Um, just while he's doing that, once again, I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. I love getting to do this, love getting to tune in with our community. I see we also have one of our friends here, Dustin, Crypto Hustler. While we're waiting on Ragnar's to fix his mic, Crypto Hustler, do you want to share how your week's been going? Anything you're looking forward to going into this weekend or this coming week?
Man, it's been an exciting week. My morning raps. Everyone's been asking to do freestyles. The community calls about like AMAs and spaces, and yeah, so that's been really cool. Been able to get recognized in that sense. Yeah, this coming up week, man, it's exciting. Um, gonna have some, some bunch of side events like you mentioned, like going to these, networking events and because I did some random rap last night. Some people from New York were wanting me to go to their parties and all this stuff. So, some
Wow.
other side.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could be going to other places too, as well.
Hey,
Um,
that's what this is all about, though. We're all about networking and community, like building our communities and stuff. And this, I mean, I feel like we're an online based kind of community, but getting to do everything in person with these online based people is so cool. It's kind of like whenever you were a kid and you met somebody online, you played video games with them, and you're like, I would love to meet this guy in real life. It's almost like the same sense. Like, I'm building a community with this person, and now I get to meet them in real life. We get to go to this event. We get to network together and network with other people that have like-minded aspirations and goals. So it's just really cool. I'm really looking forward to Decoded. And yeah, just getting to hang out with everybody that we met also back in Consensus that will be there, like yourself. It's going to be awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's exciting times, man. Like, after just getting some exposure, there's just like so much love in the space, and everybody's willing to work with you and take the time, and like it's just I couldn't ask for more. Like this has just been such a blessing.
Yes. Totally. I totally agree with you, dude. I love what's going on right now. So, Ragnar's, did you get your mic fixed yet? If you wanted to let everybody know how your week's been. I don't know. Your mic might still be having some issues. We heard you at first, then it cut off again. That's all right. Well, hey, thanks for trying to share with us, Ragnar's. We appreciate it. If you want to, go ahead and send a message in the InvArch Tech community, like voice chat thread box, and let everybody know how your week's been doing. We're going to go ahead and move on into the next subject. So speaking on Polkadot, Decoded, lots of exciting events going on right there. We're going to be seeing Gavin Wood get to speak. Going to be a big nerd fanboy moment. Looking forward to that. I think almost everybody who's going to Decoded is going to be looking forward to that. That's going to be a very packed out event. Not to mention, our own founder, Dakota, will be speaking on June 29th, the first day. He will be speaking at 2:25 Eastern Standard Time at New York for Decoded. I don't know if that will change again. Hopefully not. However, it has changed several times. If it does change, we will be sure to update our community again so you guys can stay on top of it. But Dakota will be speaking on interoperability and Polkadot in action. Just to give you a general background on what he's talking about, he's going to be saying as a layer zero relay providing an interoperable foundation for the future of the internet, a defining feature for Polkadot is cross-consensus messages, XCM. XCM over bridges allows XCM to occur between bridge protocols like between Polkadot and Kusama. Protocols onboarded on Polkadot can extend their reach to other ecosystems, and this allows features such as cross-chain authentication to have a single source for cross-referencing and verifying data, but this data is no longer limited to one chain. So that's just a general, pitch of what he's going to be talking about. His speech is supposed to be for 20 minutes, and I will also, while I'm here with everybody in the community call, I will share with you all the link. I actually have it readily available right here instead, so I'm going to pull it from this. But so the link itself, you'll be able to register for his speech. Lots of exciting things. He's going to be talking about XCA, which, as we all know, or if you're not familiar with, if you're new in our community, stands for cross-chain authentication. It's kind of the baby of our network in a way. It's going to be the catalyst of all of the work that we've put in after we've already finished INV4 and once we finish OSIF. Cross-chain authentication will definitely shake up the game like we've never seen before, and the plan is to eventually have a totally piracy-free and plagiarism-resistant Polkadot ecosystem, and eventually extend that to all of Web3. So cross-chain authentication will be amazing, but it's primarily thanks to XCM and the development of that. So without XCM, XCA couldn't come through, and we're very excited for to hear other people talk about how excited they are about XCM, because we hear people talking about it quite a bit. And then when we get to started talking about XCA, their mind just goes, oof, it just explodes. They're like, what? So it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are going to be quite shocked to hear what Dakota has to say about cross-chain authentication and cross-chain messaging. But yes, once again, just last reminder for this, it will be June 29th at 2:25 Eastern Standard Time. So if you all are interested in tuning in for that, make sure you just click this link. I'm going to find it here. Da, 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 da. Here we go. I'm about to send it in the chat. All right, there we go. So if you guys haven't, go ahead and register for that. That way, if you're not online, you can still catch it. Like I said, there will be amazing things talked about at Decoded. Not to mention, like we have James Wu is going to be doing a presentation. Like I said, Gavin Wood. There's a lot of interesting talks going on, lots of crazy things. We also have, not to mention, going to Berlin. We have our other team member and co-founder Madungus. So he will be attending Berlin Polkadot Decoded, and myself, AJ, and Dakota will be attending New York Polkadot Decoded. So once again, if you guys haven't registered, there is plenty of online availability. They're going to be live streaming these. So make sure you register. Just because you're not going to be able to attend in person doesn't mean you should miss out. The other thing I want to prepare everybody for, we've been talking about this a lot, but I think it's definitely worth mentioning, is the TinkerNet crowd loan. So the crowd loan will begin in just 5 days from now, starting on block 1330560, and it will end on July 6th, block 1340460. So if you don't already, if you're planning on contributing, I hope you are. Get your KSM ready. KSM is up a little bit right now from what it has been throughout the week. So I hope if you already were planning on contributing, you were able to get that bag ready, because it's like $57 the last time I checked, and it had been down all the way to like 47. So it's it's decently up from what it was just a few days ago. But let me find out here. So with the TinkerNet, we do have some changes and updates. I hope everyone has already been paying attention, but if not, I want to go ahead and update the community here right now. So we did have a KSM hard cap update. So we now will be seeking the 20,000 KSM hard cap. It was previously 15,000. However, it was changed for significant reasons. So now the InvArch network gets 8%. Previously, it was 9%. Private funding is 5%. Crowd loan rewards 0 to 15%. Inducement bonus rewards 0 to 10%. Crowd loan reserves 10 to 35%. OSIF and SEPA staking 10%. Liquidity support 10%. TinkerNet Treasury 20%. The community sale 2%. The ambassador incentives 5%. And XCA incentives 5%. So just to give a brief thing, I don't want to read this entire article for you, but there were these significant changes for good purpose. There was a little bit of community like concern. Somebody even said something about like, why did you ask us to change the hard cap? And the whole reason we ended up making sure that it was 20,000 was simply because there was a flaw realized in the Tinkernomics that, if exploited, could have hurt the community, and that's obviously not what we want to happen, right? So we were concerned that if this check didn't get answered, there could be issues. Specifically, with 50% of the total supply released and a cap of like 15,000 KSM, this would set the parachain at an approximate valuation of just under $1.5 million for the entire network. And additionally, with KSM being valued so low right now in the market, there's an increased possibility of just a several few individuals filling this cap and collecting almost all of the rewards. Having lackluster distribution and previously no liquidity support allocations would have been a big setback for getting Tinker listed on decentralized exchanges, and especially central exchanges. Another key takeaway is that 10% or projected IP staking APY, the assumed evaluation would only provide approximately $150,000 to fund initial IP staking incentives, which would hurt the network's ability to provide one of its major services and thus lose its value even further. Numbers may be adjusted and quantities changed, but as a result, the actual value that our supporters are rewarded with is much higher, it's sounder, and it's beneficial. It's much more beneficial than it already was. 25% of the supply in exchange for 20,000 KSM still provides the most generous cloud loan experience year to date. Because of these changes, this network is sustainable, ready to establish a liquid market for everybody, and able to provide its key services of bootstrapping innovation. As a result, the actual value of the network is positioned to absolutely increase. The funds were not removed from the community, just how they were attained, and a majority of them reallocated rewards for this round either went to planned liquidity events, which will help establish a higher evaluation in a market for DeFi. While these numbers are not exact, the main message here is that as a result of these changes, an individual may find themselves with half of the supply they were anticipating, but the outcome is a token worth 4 times the previous projection. So in the end, you and the community are actually going to be getting the best rewards for your support. In the end, you're going to be given even more tokens than before or allocated towards community distributions. So, this was, like I said, to protect the community. We did realize that there was one error. We changed these incentives a little bit, changed things around so that way no one could come in and harm not only the project but the community. Because it was brought to our attention. One of our individuals on our team raised concern and said, hey, this could be exploited. And when they caught it, it was an instant like, oh, wow, yeah, you're right. We have to change that. So once again, we apologize for like the change and not going with the 15,000, but it was for a good reason. It wasn't just we don't want to listen to the community. It was, hey, we realized that this could harm the community, and that's at the end of the day exactly what we wanted to avoid. So that's why that change was made. But yeah, and if you're an ambassador, like I said, I'm going to read this part specifically for our ambassadors. These funds are reserved as incentives and rewards, the 5% for ambassadors in the InvArch Ambassador Program. These rewards are earned by participating in the InvArch Embassy and assisting in our grassroots growth of our network. A portion, 20% of these tokens, will be retroactively awarded and airdropped for the previous contributions of past and current ambassadors. The remaining 80% will be allocated as rewards for future ambassadors in the program. All tokens received this way will see 10% of their allocations initially unlocked, and the remaining 90% experience linear vesting by block over a 1-year duration. These tokens are reserved as incentives for communities from parachains and ecosystems that integrate XCA technologies into their networks. This may include, but is not limited to, upgrading their runtimes with XC-INV4 palettes, or successful proposals to bridge XCA with other ecosystems, or upgrading to enforce XCA enforcement at the protocol layer. Oh, that was me reading further on. My apologies. But yes, so with that in mind, guys, like I said, we're just protecting the community. We don't want anybody to be able to just exploit something that they found in the network and manipulate it, possibly harming not only ourselves, but all of our community members. So at the end of the day, that decision was made, like I said, strictly for the protection of the community, for the community. Moving on into the next segment, though, I wanted to ask you guys if anybody wanted to share any of the thoughts that they had on the Tinkernet. Anybody had any questions? If I can answer them regarding the Tinkernet, I will. If not, I will write down your question and then get back with you all next week and answer it on our next community call. But I do want to hear some of the community. We've had some community feedback from the Tinkernet, but I do like hearing directly, like people who understand the technology really well, understanding what this is going to be bringing to the ecosystem. So, does anybody want to give initial feedback right now on what they think of the Tinkernet, the updated Tinkernomics, what this means for the Tinkernet parachain as a whole? Or if you just want to express that you're excited to contribute to the crowd loan in 5 days, please feel free to do so. Before I give out the mic again, I just want to iterate this to the community for ethical reasons as well. None of our own team members will be contributing to the KSM crowd loan, at least not at the beginning of it. If any of us contribute, it will be at the very end where we get no extra reward incentives or anything like that, simply because we already are having our own bit of, tinker that we will be getting out in the terms. So it would be ethically wrong for us to also try to manipulate our own network and earn more tokens. So I just wanted to make that explicitly clear to our community that you all can expect that will not be taking place. Like I said, I think things like that are important. Granted, we are, a nonprofit. We're building a project that's meant for everybody, and we believe in community. So since we're building the community and we're kind of like the admins, or however you want to see it, the team members, we built that crowd loan structure specifically just to reward our community members. So we should not be able to seep or reap the rewards of those benefits for our community members as well. But with that being in mind, does anybody want to give their feedback or ask some questions or just express their excitement for TinkerNet or just the crowd loan in general? Feel free to do so now. Please take over the mic. Oh, okay, you can't speak. Okay. So we did have one person say they wanted to express their excitement. They apologize. They said, I cannot speak English out loud very well. Don't feel confident speaking out loud on the mic. But I am excited to contribute my KSM. I do believe that this TinkerNet parachain will change things for the better for innovation. Well, thank you so much. We believe the same thing. That's the whole reason why we're building this ecosystem. We believe that innovation's kind of been snuffed out, especially in the United States. I like to say all the time, it's ridiculous that the barrier to entry for innovation in the United States and protecting your intellectual property once you have like a revelation of how you can improve something or change something or an invention that will benefit everybody. The barrier to entry for protecting that is $15,000, at least right now. I'm going to be honest. I don't know a single individual off the top of my head who could just cough up $15,000 just to protect an idea that they had solely on their own, and that's just hoping that it gets protected. So the beauty of this is TinkerNet will kind of be like a place to prove your tech. Once your tech speaks for itself, people understand what it is you're trying to build in our ecosystem. Then once it's like kind of upgraded and the community has its support behind it, that's when you would move it to InvArch and get all this direct support. It's very exciting. I think innovation is going to be upset. For example, like Dustin, for example, who's a part of our community now, he's in this community call. He's been doing these community raps about Polkadot and stuff like that. So in the future, whenever this is mainnet, he'll be able to mint those and protect those as his intellectual property if he wants to, and be able to actually profit off people listening to his, GM raps in the morning, things like that. And things like that today exist, but unfortunately, it's easily copied. Like you can download people's music online for free, and they really don't get any benefit from it. But I think all of that is going to be changing in the very near future, with all these different tokens that are going to be able to have so much different utility. I think it's going to upset a lot of industries, starting with music for one, like I said. But not only music, law will be upset. You have, not to mention just like the general patenting industry in and of itself will see some change. NFTs significantly will be affected. Shout out to our partnership with Remark for that. But I'm definitely looking forward to all the different possibilities that this technology is going to allow to take place. If it wasn't for this, and we often joke as as a team, we often joke. We wish we had InvArch for InvArch, simply because we won't name any names, but like we've had people ask some kind of like questions and things before that kind of seemed like they wanted to take our idea and run with it a little bit further or try to. And that's exactly what InvArch is trying to protect, to resist against, piracy, those types of things, people coming to steal your information, people being able to steal your IP and get away with it. That's going to be changing. So very exciting to look forward to the future of like what InvArch will be able to provide for utility. What just happened? Oh, I don't know what I just did. But anyways, yeah, that's my take on why I'm like super excited for not only Tinkernet but InvArch to become parachains. But in the meantime, sorry, I have to mute this person. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, that was confusing. I couldn't hear myself think. But in the meantime, that's like I said, that's why I'm super excited for the Tinkernet crowd loan. Looking forward to the future of what InvArch is going to bring to the table for so many different people and projects, especially in the Polkadot ecosystem, starting there. Since not everybody in here knows English super well, Dustin, I wanted to come back to you and ask you, as one of our community members, if you have any comments or questions, things you wanted to express about our Tinkernet and what people can be excited about, what you're excited about for our project.
I don't have too many questions, but definitely excited to see, some of these protocols you have. Well, actually, all your protocols you have, being able to implement them in the real world use cases and start being able to like, add those IP elements to these projects that need this protection, and it's really exciting what you guys are building. And then like I forgot what I guess the question would be. I totally spaced it, but like the allocation, not the allocation, but the what was the supply for Tinkernet again?
Oh, the initial supply. So it has changed. Hold on, I gotta mute just one other person. I think they didn't realize that their mic was on. So the initial supply for the Tinkernet, it actually has changed, and the team went back and forth on it for a while. But like I said, the initial supply is different now. If you go to the website specifically and you go to Tinker, this is just for our listeners, Dustin. If you go to our website specifically and you hit Tinkernet, once you get to invarch.network, there's a top at the part that says Tinkernet. It'll like provide all the information for those who are interested of our listeners, but our total supply is going to be 11,700,000 Tinker. And that's been changed. We were going to have 117 million, but we did have a community vote. We wanted our community to have some governance in this decision, and they voted to bring it down, which, in the end, it only increases the value because there's a much more limited supply. So no complaints here. The community spoke and the community got what they wanted with that. So very pleased with that decision.
Nice. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's like 11.7. It's like crazy, like having such a low supply. That's like, we've seen this with Kusama, we've seen this with RMRK. So it's like, Moon River too. You
Yeah.
guys have a small supply, which is it's really nice. It's really nice. It's not too much. It's not too like not enough, And so I think that sweet spot of like 10 million ish to 11.7, like yeah, it's really cool to be able to have a smaller number there. So
Yeah, like I said, and it was all the community's decision. It was very hard between. I think that was so the community was like 39% wanted the initial supply that was set in place of the 117, and then the rest of the community, the majority of the community, voted for the smaller supply. So that's what we ended up going with. So yeah, we were happy to provide the community with what they wanted, what they asked for. But going back into like, so you were talking about the revolutionary things that this is going to be able to bring. We announced yesterday, as most of you are probably aware, that InvArch has partnered with Subsquid to archive intellectual property in Web3. So that's going to be super huge. Subsquid is the blockchain's world's data backbone. If you guys don't know, they provide a framework for robust, natively multi-chain APIs and analytics on 33 different networks already and counting. In a future that is multi-chain, Subsquid is going to provide an extremely dynamic and increasingly crucial suite of tools for Web3 devs. Some of Subsquid's key features already include ultimate type safety for substrate runtime upgrades, easy configuration with auto completion assist, seamless extension with custom SQL queries, and 10 times faster storage calls compared to Polkadot.js. That one alone, I know a lot of our devs in our community get super excited about. Fast, simple, and hassle-free API configuration and deployment. So very, very exciting to give you guys just a background. Like Subsquid is rapidly deploying archives to gather data from available blockchains, and our network is set to join this array of chains, or more specifically, the InvArch Tinkernet parachain, which is getting set for the upcoming 42nd Kusama slot auction, once again, beginning in just a few days on June 29th. With the Tinkernet set to provide on-chain licenses pegged to NFTs, along with the ability for turning NFTs into DAOs, a new world of collaboration built between users, data, and digital assets will be possible. Excuse me. With this comes a new world of collaborative possibilities. A strong framework for all the data that ultimately comprises this world will be needed, and possibly even more importantly, the ability to catalog, organize, and archive this data forever. Using Subsquid, developers will be able to organize different frameworks for intellectual property, and the InvArch and Tinkernet parachains will establish permanent archives of this data for Web3. So very significant. We always talk about being able to go back and 150 years from now, when we're in the future, and somebody mints something on InvArch, and they're like, "Hey, like a court case pops up because somebody's trying to steal their IP." They're going to be able to go back 150 years and look at the data and be like, "You're wrong." So very, very significant, because think about all the different people that, if they could, like, it's one of the examples we like to use is the inventor of the telephone. So, like, could you imagine if he could go back all those years and just be like, "Hey, so actually, I have verifiable data to prove that I was the inventor of the telephone." There would be a lot of confused Americans, myself included. I didn't. We learned about the father of the telephone in like middle school, and I didn't learn that that was a lie until I was graduated from high school. So, it's kind of ironic in a sense, but very significant that we've partnered with them. We have more partnerships that we're preparing to announce. I can't drop any more alpha than that. So just be excited, be on the lookout for those announcements, be prepared, because we know that you all will be pumped. We got a lot of exciting stuff going on right now, not to mention the team's getting ready to travel again in the same month. So it's just been very chaotic, but we've been doing our best to keep you guys updated, drop all this information and alpha for you guys. We did just recently conclude our second Brainstorm Community Workshop event. For those of you who did attend that are also here for this community call, thank you very much. We loved having you guys participate and being able to actually play around with the functionality of our tech and see how it goes. You all will be getting the NFT, Brainstorm badges. If you guys haven't seen what they look really, really, really cool. Our UI/UX designer Yaroslav helped design them, and they are freaking awesome. If you guys look at the InvArch Weekly Wednesday update posted to our Medium, there is an image there of what they will look like. So, like I said, pretty freaking cool. That's another one of those kind of commemorative NFTs that may or may not provide some sweet functionality in the future. As of now, there's no plans to do a third Brainstorm community testnet event, but that could change in the future if we get a lot of community outreach saying, "Hey, we want that." Then we might actually consider doing another one. So, with that in mind, we've been very, very busy with all the announcements, all the things coming out.
Oui, de nouveau, Jérôme de Véga Informatique, je vous rappelle concernant l'ouverture des ports. Du coup, j'ai fait pas mal de recherches, impossible de trouver pourquoi ça fonctionne pas. J'ai appelé votre prestataire.
Sorry about that. That threw me off for a minute too. Where was I? Okay, yes. So, like I said, just to recap, guys, we got a lot of stuff going on. More partnership announcements that you guys can expect to be going on. The only other thing that I'd like to tell everybody who's listening, if you all are not an ambassador, or if you are interested in becoming an ambassador for our program, make sure you go to our website and apply. You have to have submitted an application. For some reason, I get a lot of confusion around that. Like, people think if they just retweet things on Twitter and everything, that's like how they're going to get recruited. And they'll reach out to me via DMs and being like, "I've been retweeting your stuff for like 2.5 weeks. Why haven't I been reached out to?" And it's like, I don't even have an application for you yet. So you have to apply. Make sure you apply to the ambassador program. We are a very rewarding ambassador program. We like to And I'd like to say that it's very, very easy to earn points. It's very easy to build camaraderie in our space. So I hope that if you are interested, you will apply. Right now, there's a ton of things going on that the ambassadors are able to help us with. Big shout out to you guys and our community. I don't know if a lot of you all know this, but as far as analytics go, there is no denying that on most weeks in a month, on Twitter at least, InvArch is one of the most talked about, retweeted, liked projects in all of Sama analytically, which is insane if you look at our followers compared to most of these other major, I guess, parachains, legacy parachains, things like that. Like they have hundreds upon thousands of followers, and yet somehow we're still having more engagement with our audience. So a huge shout out to you guys, because as far as that goes, like that just goes to show how strong our oh, excuse me, guys, I keep having burps come up. That just shows to show how strong our community is, with just like the grassroots. As far as marketing goes, we really haven't spent that much money, if any, hardly, on marketing. Everything has been organic. Everything's been, that mindset of if we build, they're going to come, and we certainly have seen that. It's paying off. We have a lot of interest. A lot of people are asking questions about InvArch right now. We have things going on. If you guys don't know, Polkadot Decoded is going to be one of the places where we're going to try to really get exposure. We also have another event. I'm not going to drop any more information than this, but there's another event sometime this year that we want to attend. And if anybody would be able to attend any of the events this year, specifically related to being able to hang out with InvArch, that one will be the one you want to go to. The plan is to try to really shine at this other event later this year, and kind of take over in a sense. But no more information than that on that subject. But once again, so I do want to shout out all the community members who have been on top of it with also just sharing all of our stuff on Twitter and showing support. A lot of people who aren't even ambassadors have been doing this, and it's definitely been noticed. So thank you all so much for your continued support. If you all aren't ambassadors and you've applied and you're like, why haven't I been made an ambassador yet? So it could be simply because we're waiting to recruit you once these terms are set. So we began this in round 6 for the embassy. So round 6, 7, 8, and now 9. So at the end of this round will be the official end of some people's terms in the Army. So if they are not going to be going to a corps at the end of this round, this will be their last round that they'll be able to participate. So then they'll be like retired in a sense from the Army, and just sent back into the community. However, they do have their rewards and everything of this nature. But the reason we're doing this is because we want to circulate people throughout the ambassador program, and we want people to be able to get a fresh sense of community as well. We also believe doing this will allow so many more people in our community eventually to become ambassadors and get that kind of firsthand experience in Web3. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. If you have not been recruited yet, it's likely simply because we're waiting to recruit you from your region for the actual term limits coming up. There will be a decent amount of people who will be shifted out of the program and a decent amount of people who are intaken. So just be prepared for that. Most likely closer towards the end of this round, you all will see an influx of individuals coming into the program, preparing for the outflux of people retiring. So just keep that in mind. If you haven't applied, please feel free to do so. Like I said, the application is on our website. But the only other thing I would like to talk to you guys about is, does anybody else want to share anything with Sama that they're looking forward to, possibly like talk about any project other than InvArch that they're super excited about? I know like there's a lot of interesting things going on right now in the space. I've been keeping up with a lot of what Akala is doing. And a lot of exciting stuff. Those guys really killed it at Consensus. So I've been keeping up with them a lot. They're arguably one of my other favorite projects, along with A Star. Um, not trying to shill their projects to you guys either, but just being candid here, they're kind of like my favorites. And Dustin's kind of put me on to Darwinia as of late. I've been looking into them, learning more about their network, and Gamify as well. So Fala Network and Fala World Gaming, like if you guys aren't into them, I highly recommend you check them out. What they're doing is very cool. They're talking about soul-bound NFTs over there. Very, very interesting concept. Not to mention, they just recently developed fat contracts. And if you guys don't know what fat contracts are, they're freaking awesome. And that's all I'm going to say. I highly recommend you guys go check them out. But I have talked your all's ears off for this community call, so I would like to get a little bit of somebody else's take on what their favorite like projects are right now in the space, other than just InvArch. Does anybody want to take over the mic? I will unmute the individuals who were talking earlier, as long as they're not, they're not still just blasting. Okay, cool. So if anybody wants to take over the mic now, talk about your favorite project, anything you're looking forward to in Sama, please feel free to do so. I'm trying to end this community call in roughly probably 10-ish minutes, but if nobody is going to take the mic, then we will have to cut it a little bit shorter. I just wanted to gauge with the community. I'll have to interact with you guys and get a sense of feedback from you all. So please, somebody take the mic. Let me know, what is the projects I should be paying attention to right now, aside from InvArch and Sama? What projects are you all pumped about and looking forward to getting some tokens or getting ready to, like participate in some of their events?
I mean, I could jump in.
Go right ahead, Dustin.
So yeah, kind of add to the Fala thing. The Fala did come out with their Spirit NFT, so of course this is not financial advice, and it's free, but of course it comes with having to get some Fa, which is like really cheap. But basically, you sign up and you get yourself a free NFT, so that's another cool integration with Fala World. Sky Breach comes out for Canaria holders in a few hours. That's a really cool thing going on.
Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. A lot of people are looking forward to that. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about that on Twitter.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy going down, and a lot of land missing. From, early buyers of the Cocopelli gem, which is a specific gem Canaria birds hold. And with the soulbound NFTs essentially. Of course, Darwinia is exciting. We are robust light clients and connecting with everyone. But yeah, exciting updates in the space. GM is doing pretty good.
GM or die.
GM or die. If you guys have been seeing them, they're up and coming meme chain essentially, but they just somewhat onboarded as a parathread, I believe.
Yep.
So you get the GM's part of the parathread, so that's exciting. They get a lot of attention. So it's really cool to see. Everyone's opened up HRMP channels, so once you guys open up Tinkernet, it'll just be an easy onboarding for you guys to just jump into Karura and Moon River and just everybody that's ready to open up channels with you. So that's really exciting.
It's so exciting. I think honestly, one of the things that I'm looking the most forward to, this is just for our project. Once again, I know we're talking about other projects, but the number one thing that I keep coming back to, like when someone asks me, like, what am I arguably one of the most excited things for? I don't know if anybody else would share this, but this is well publicly like documented already, talked about. When InvArch gets, like when we secure a parachain for InvArch, not Tinkernet, but InvArch, the first 10 other parachains who onboard our pallets are going to get airdropped like 1% of our Varch supply. So that's a ton of tokens. And from there, they'll be able to airdrop that to their community. So, instantly, the first 10 parachains who onboard our pallets, their communities and the people who have supported their projects will be airdropped our tokens. So um, instantly, utility will be available for our token. Instantly, there will be tons of liquidity, tons of people holding the token, and hopefully it'll kickstart innovation. Hopefully that's the goal. We want to see people use it for its utility. We want to see people use it for its purpose. So um, I'm very excited. I know several people that I've already talked to. I'm not going to discuss like what they've talked about, obviously, because that would kind of like hurt their intellectual property. But I've had a few people expose their intellectual property to me in a trusting manner, because they know I wouldn't screw them over. And they've expressed to me like what they're looking forward to use our network for, and it's freaking amazing. Like I'm so excited to see some of the use cases that are going to spur out of it. But yeah, going back to like how you said, we're going to instantly be able to have like we're going to instantly be working with all these other parachains and networks, and the functionality is insane. And that's the thing that's like so key, I think, to adoption is simplifying everything and making everything functional. The less, like, for example, we talked the other day about showing your friends DeFi right now, and having to bridge and swap assets and things like that. And if somebody's not into DeFi, if somebody doesn't even know what blockchain or crypto is, and you start talking to them about how they need to look into this, and you start showing them how to bridge and swap assets and things of that nature, like most of them hate it. At least from my experience, like they hate it. So like projects like this simplify things. Um, we have projects that are trying to literally make it to where you can do everything from just one little call, and it swaps your assets, bridges, like everything. So I think things like that will be able to be created and developed through InvArch as well. I think it's going to help drive a lot of adoption. And I think the number one thing is you have, ironically, we're talking about like GM or die. You have projects that are like memes, kind of in a sense, but they're funny, right? And yet, for some reason, it seems like these projects that turn out to be memes, they get the most attention. And it's almost a bit like, why? Because you have projects that have extreme utility, but most of the time, it's just like the adoption there is lackluster. And I think it's just because not many people understand the actual functionality of these networks. Most people don't understand that you don't have to be a developer to use them. Most people that I've talked to that don't know what crypto or anything like that is, when I start talking about crypto, they'll think like I have to have some understanding of programming to be able to do that. And it's like, no, you don't. Um, so I think that's the number one thing. It's crazy if you guys even Google, what is cryptocurrency adoption right now worldwide. I think the last time I looked, it was like 4%. So we talk about how you have people on there right now while the market's down and the FUD is on. You have people talking about like, is crypto dead? No, it's not even close. It hasn't even really kickstarted yet. If you think about it, we have 4% world adoption. 4%. We have like what, 9 billion people almost on the planet, if not more. That's nothing. That's like absolutely nothing. So in 10 years from now, a decade from now, imagine what crypto and blockchain look like. And I think projects like InvArch, projects like Darwinia, like clients, projects like Kilt, providing decentralized online identities that you can trust, um, partner projects like Subsquid, who are archiving data. Um, these are all essential. Like, you have to have these projects if you want this type of ecosystem to further develop and people to feel comfortable in it and drive adoption. So, apart from ourselves, I'm just so grateful for all the teams that are building these things, because it's not just that we want them, it's that we need them. Um, there's a common good behind these networks that we're all driving to achieve. And so I think that was that's the number one reason why, like myself, I got behind the spirit of decentralization was simply because um, it was just like you could see that everybody was kind of on the same board, if you will. They were on the same team. They wanted the same things. They all wanted financial freedom. They wanted respect. Um, so these types, no matter where they were from, so having all these different things, being in decentralized communities was the number one thing that attracted me to it. And then we started talking, like whenever I met Dakota and he starts talking to me about InvArch, and being able to protect your intellectual property for basically less than $1. Actually, yeah, less than $1. Excuse me. Um, that blew my mind. I used to have a family member who wanted to invent something, and he applied for a patent. It was like women's lipstick or something. It was like a women's lipstick that when they applied it, like it wouldn't come off if you smeared it somehow or something. I can't remember the exact pitch, but it made sense. And he had sold a little bit of them himself and had success with it. So he wanted to take it mainstream and wanted to, have like distributors and suppliers and stuff. And before he did that, he tried to go for a patent. He had raised enough money for a patent, $15,000, went for the patent and was denied. And that was all of his money. So he didn't have any more money to further fund the invention that he had made or get any more of them developed or made. So his invention, I guess you could say, died. Um, had he had InvArch, he could be, who knows what today. He could have been sitting on $1 million idea and didn't know it. But because he applied for a patent and then was denied, he unfortunately that's not the way his life went. But yeah, like I said, I think these projects are common good. I think they're changing things for the better, and they're not just things that we want; they're things that we need. Um, but guys, with that, I will just leave my comments. I'm a little bit rambling at this point. So, does before we close, because we're almost at 8 minutes to the hour, does anybody have any questions regarding anything that we talked about? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or DM me if you're not able to speak good English, if you don't feel confident. Feel free to DM me any questions that you might have. I'm going to silence myself for just a minute or two and open the floor. If nobody has any questions and nobody asks any questions within the next minute or so, we'll go ahead and wrap up the community call. All right, guys? So mic's open to anybody who has any comments. Anybody wants to say anything, feel free. This is the community call, so anybody can speak.
So I just wanted to add, thank you, Casey, for the community call. A lot of information. Appreciate your guys' community, and yeah, hope to attend more. And yeah, I'm gonna have to jump off here, but yeah, and you guys are doing such a great innovation, and it's just so inspiring for anyone to build on. So yeah, keep doing the great work, and hope to jump in next time.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much. And thank you, by the way, for providing all those GM wraps. I've been loving them.
Thanks. Yeah, I enjoy it, and I was inspired by you guys too. Like it's just it's been really nice to be able to do something I love. It's a niche, people enjoy it, and it's like on the spot. It's raw. It's like it's so cool that I'm able to actually do something I enjoy. I mean, not that I don't enjoy space. I love space,
No,
everything,
no, I
but it's like
totally understand what you're saying. You get to do something else that you enjoy on top of something you already enjoy inside the same space. So it's pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's exciting, and yep. So yeah, I'll see you this next week.
Yeah, man, I'll see you in New York for sure.
Cool, man.
All right, later,
Thanks,
Dustin.
everybody. Thanks, Casey. Bye.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have any questions or anything?
Yeah, I have one question.
Okay.
How I see everything, everyone partnering with each other in the .summer ecosystem, yeah?
Yes.
And there is such project as Subordinate, maybe you heard about it.
This is a content wallet for .sama.
Yes.
Is there a collaboration planned with them? If I'm not mistaken, Dokata seems to have had partnership talks with them. Maybe you know something about it?
So I will say, Sub Wallet, we have talked to them. There's no like official, like I can't release any kind of like, alpha information regarding partnership conversations right now. But I can say that like several wallets on top of Sub Wallet, we've been in conversations with. So just keep that in mind moving forward. We do have a lot of things to talk about to you guys. We have lots of things to finalize as well. But yes, to answer your questions, we have talked to the team over at Subwallet. But as far as an official partnership goes, we haven't concluded anything like that yet. But we do hope to, possibly do something with them in the future. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, not only them, but like I said, several other partnerships are in progress right now. Like I said, I can't name anybody specifically, simply because we don't want to name something and then for whatever reason it not happen. That would be awful. But yes, we have been in communication with them. So hopefully that comes through.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Does anybody else have any other questions? All right. Nobody else has any other questions, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap up this community call. Thank you all so much for attending. You've been a great audience. I appreciate all of your all's time, and hopefully I will catch you all next Friday as well for the next community call. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.